Greetings and welcome to another episode of Play Unplugged TV. I'm your host, Enrico Nardini. I'm here with Simon Berman at Gen Con 2013, and we're talking all things Privateer Press.
How's it going, Enrico? Good to talk to you again.
It's going great, Simon. It's going wonderful. And yeah, it's been a while since we had that sit down with Matt Wilson, but so much going on, and you guys are constantly having tons and tons of new releases.
Yep.
And so talking about a couple big ones just for the con. Level 7 Omega Protocol.
Yep, really excited about that.
10th anniversary of War Machine Butcher figure, and we've got the new tactical deck building game. So a lot going on. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Omega Protocol.
Sounds awesome. Let's start there.
Sure. Level 7 Omega Protocol is the latest game in our Level 7 series. It's a standalone game, but advancing the story that began in Level 7 Escape last year, which was our cooperative survival game. Level 7 Omega Protocol is more of a dungeon crawler. You have a GM, and it's aliens versus soldiers who are cleansing the Subterra Bravo base of the alien influence. And it's a very tense game, a lot of cool combat, a lot of cool tactical decisions to make, and this one comes with miniatures.
And now instead of being a person being experimented on trying to escape, you guys have to get the aliens out. You said Omega Protocol has happened, and now it's time to cleanse the base.
Yeah, and that's not going to be an easy thing for those soldiers either, but it's definitely a very cool game, a little bloody in there, but this time you get to fight back.
So, War Machine and Hordes, obviously the premier products at Privateer Press. We've got a special Butcher model with a base celebrating the 10th anniversary. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
10 years of War Machine right there, all captured in, a diorama base, and from my understanding, sold out pretty much almost instantly. Line wrapped around the convention.
Yeah.
Not unusual for you guys.
No, actually, I think it was our biggest line ever. We went upstairs, but we actually managed to kind of deal with it really fast. We got everybody their stuff, dealt with it quickly. But it was really cool to launch the Butcher here. That's the new Butcher 3. The limited edition set came with him, a diorama base, a collector's coin, an art print, certificate of authenticity. And those models in advance, obviously, because they'll be out in the general release in a few months.
Yeah, and that's good news for the people who didn't get a chance to get in on it. It's admittedly you don't get all the cool perks, but at least you'll still be able to get those really neat models. Now, the Butcher has 2 Argai with him, which my immediate thought is, oh my gosh, is this some kind of hybrid with Hordes? Is he going to have War Beast type powers?
No, he's just using them as part of his character unit, but they're the Butcher's Hounds. He doesn't actually have the War Beast bond that a Warlock would have. He's still just a pure focus Warcaster, but his dogs are real mean even without any of that.
Yeah, I'd say that's quite an upgrade from a Warhound.
Yeah, 4 times the heads.
4 times the heads. So the next thing we want to talk about is the deck building game, both a War Machine and a Hordes version, and a lot of stuff to explore within that. Totally self-contained. You can buy one box and play it, or you can buy both, mix them up, and I'm sure there's going to be some expansions, things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, High Command is our new deck builder. We are releasing it to the world for the first time this weekend at Gen Con. It comes in both War Machine and Hordes. War Machine High Command will be in stores in just a few weeks on August 28th. Hordes High Command is going to be in general release in October. And then after that, we'll be releasing a lot of expansions. We got some cool organized play coming up. But at its heart, it's a deck building game. If you want to purchase the core game, it's all you need to play it for 2 to 4 players. You construct your deck around each of your factions, and then you battle it out for the locations of Western Imran and the Iron Kingdoms. The idea is that War Machine kind of focuses on the tactical battles of the Iron Kingdoms, whereas High Command is about the strategic sweep of armies across the face of the world.
Yeah, and with that in mind, things like you're going to be controlling multiple Warcasters in this, right? Lots of different troops fighting over multiple battlefields.
Correct. You're going to choose 3 Warcasters from your faction. Each faction, I believe, begins with 5 Warcasters out of the core box, and we'll be adding more with expansions for each faction. You pick your Warcasters, and then the colors on your Warcasters' detachments choose the detachment cards you can build your deck out of. So there's a lot of customizability, not just with the Warcasters, but with what cards you put in your deck based on the combination of Warcasters you're choosing. And then those cards are used to construct your actual deck during the gameplay. So there's almost 2 deck construction phases to the game.
Cool. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of variety.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot of replayability, I think. Even just out of the core box, with 5 Warcasters each, you've got a whole bunch of combinations for each faction, and there's nothing stopping you from playing a different faction every time you play.
Well, speaking of factions, so with High Command, there are just some things from the War Machine players playing the miniature game. Being a fan of the miniature game myself, there are some, kind of dominant strategies that come out with the different War Machine factions, and there's just they also all just kind of have their specific play style. So you think of Khador, and the first thing that jumps into your mind is you think big armor, really tough warjacks, lots of infantry there. Krix also lots of infantry. Signar, really techie pieces, things like that. How are those things, like Circle Speed, are those represented in the card game?
Absolutely. It was a real design goal for our developers to make the card factions feel like War Machine factions. So if you're playing Khador in High Command, you're going to be getting off to maybe a bit of a slow start, but you're going to get these massive hulking warjacks onto the locations, and your opponents are going to have real trouble moving those out of the way once they're there. If you're playing Krix, you're going to be pulling sneaky tricks like stealth, or bringing your infantry back from the dead, from the discard pile, all kinds of really nasty tricks that really jam things up for your opponents in some unexpected ways. So yeah, I think the factions really do feel like War Machine, and if you're a veteran War Machine player, it's going to be very recognizable to you that way. But it's a really easy game to pick up too. So if this is the first time you're checking out the Iron Kingdoms, it's a great way to get a feel for how we've always envisioned it, just through a different expression.
Now, one last thing, whenever I come to the Privateer Press for the Gen Con Indy, one of the coolest things is there's always some new preview of something that we haven't seen yet that I'm like, oh man, this is something awesome. Now, this is a very special one for me. I play Rule. There's a Rhulic Colossal, and man, does it look awesome. Just to describe it to you, and I'll try to get some pictures later, it looks like a kind of a crab with a bulldozer on the front of it. Any insights? Can you give us any on the spot, like, it does this one cool thing? Any sneak previews? I don't even know if you're allowed to do that, and it's okay if you're not, but...
Nothing too specific I can say, but I think it's going to answer a lot of questions for Rhulic players that they've had over the years, and it's going to kick some real ass for you if you're playing Seer Forge.
I'm very excited about that. Having, like I said, being a longtime player of Rule, I'm excited to get that guy on the table. Simon, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes with us.
Anytime. It's nice to see you again.
Absolutely.
And anytime you guys want to talk, I'm more than happy.
And of course, Simon, I'm sure most of the viewers out there know where to go, but just in case there's like two people under a rock who don't know where they should go for more information on Privateer Press, where would you send them?
You can go to privateerpress.com for everything you need to know. We're on Twitter at Privateer Press, and we're on Facebook. Just search for Privateer Press. You'll find us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're also on the internet. Make sure you check out playunplugged.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Leave a little comment down below. We love hearing from you guys, and we'll see you next time.